Alright, let's draw some attention to ourselves. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Andy. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Andy! It's my birthday today. Yes, my birthday. And I thought that's a good day to record another video. Because special day, yeah, why not? Make special days the video recording days. And today I want to talk about priorities. Because I'm afraid that my priorities are a bit messed up and I'm thinking about the wrong things, and I'm just gonna tell you what's on my mind. Because usually the first thing that I'm thinking about is my health. And I'm usually only thinking about my health if I'm not healthy. And the past weeks I've been on and off sick-ish. So I had a little bit of a cough or a sore throat, and then I was properly sick with something completely different, where the sore throat and coughing disappeared and I was properly sick and lay in bed. And then when I recovered from that, my cough came back. So I knew, yeah, okay, so that other thing is over now. Yeah, and when I'm sick, then I only focus on getting better. And I don't think so much, at least, about the other things. But as soon as I'm not having to lie in bed essentially all day, I start thinking about work. But really, I should appreciate how physically healthy I am. I mean, check this out, I can do all of that. You know, I'm like, my body is in good shape. Or at least in normal shape for my age. Or something like that. Like, I don't have serious pain, sometimes with the knees, rarely with the shoulders. That I got pretty much under control, I think. The knees still, when walking a bit more, there I still want to do physiotherapy. Shout out to my physiotherapist, he is like top notch. And he's telling me about so many things, like which muscles I need to use and how to train them. The back legs, I don't use those for walking, but I should. And he's properly explaining that to me. Which reminds me, I once made a video where I had some kind of physiotherapy and I talked about that, how I'm not walking correctly, ages ago. And I basically vlogged about what I learned in physiotherapy. Which now, if I would look back to that, I would be like, dude, that's completely wrong. That's just completely wrong. You're using the wrong muscle still and you don't understand what it's really about. And because of my physio, I now start to understand how that actually works. And there are more things than this particular video that I got completely wrong when I was young. And when I was young. Good topic for my birthday. And I'm afraid that now that I'm not making daily videos anymore and I don't really talk about those things anymore, if people come to my channel and they get to know me as I am presented on YouTube, they only get the old me. And it's just like, I'm so different now already. It's crazy. Like, how much of a different person I am to, like, say 5-6 years ago. It's crazy. That's just something that's also on my mind, where I'm like, should I make more videos just to, you know, or should I delete the old videos? But then that's not my kind of attitude. I also don't like how my hair looks. I don't like to delete stuff. I want to update stuff, but I don't want to delete old stuff. I mean, because that was me back then. I'm just saying it's not me anymore. It's just so many things changed, and also I just don't have the capacity or want to invest so much time in making more vlog-ish videos. So yeah, you just get those short little updates like the one I do today. So, okay, priorities. I often say that I don't work a lot, which is kind of true. Compared to a 9 till 5, I probably really work fewer hours. Because let's face it, what do I really work? I make those videos for Solana Foundation. I make those Solana tutorials. For such a video, I record for 2 to 5 hours. And then I edit for 3 to 10 hours. So let's say maybe 15 hours per video. I publish 6 videos. So what is that? 30 times 3 is 90 hours. 90 hours, that's like 2 weeks of work for a normal employed person. And that doesn't sound like much, right? It's fewer hours than a 9 till 5. And whenever I worked like 4 hours in a day, I'm usually like, yeah, well done, today you worked a lot. And then I tell people I've worked for 4 hours today, I'm so proud of myself. And they're like, what? Just 4 hours? And I'm like, yeah, I worked entire 4 hours. Because for me, for me it's different. It's like knowledge work, and that's super draining. Like making that video for sitting in front of the laptop, coding for 4 hours straight and talking all the time is freaking demanding. More than, you know, I don't know, sitting in the office and surfing Facebook or whatever you do at work. I don't know. That's what I did at work when I didn't enjoy work. I'm glad I have a different job now. But then we also gotta be honest, those are not the only hours that are work. Because it depends on what you count as work. Because the other times I'm, I don't know, watching YouTube videos about Solana topics. You know, get updated on the changelog and listen to podcasts about Solana development. That should also be considered work, if we're honest. I mean, I would do that probably also in my free time, because I used to do that in my free time. But now I'm self-employed, like, well, free time and work time starts and ends is like not well defined. I have to make a conscious effort of not working in order to not work. Because today it's my birthday and I said, so today no working, damn it. What was the first thing I did when I got up? I checked my messages and responded to some stuff, organizational stuff for the build station in Berlin, which is, guess what, work. At the build station, I'll fly to Berlin and I will work maybe 1 hour a day where I hold the workshop and maybe a few minutes preparing it, okay. But the rest of the day I have basically free. But what will I do there? Well, I will talk to people who are in the Solana ecosystem and I will basically hang around in the build station all the time. Is that work? Well, I don't know. Probably you can count it as that. And I will also fly to Paris Blockchain Week, where I will also be working and enjoying myself. And it's also like, I'm there the entire time, so you could say I'm working 24/7. And also when I'm back home, you know, then I go sit in front of the computer and just check Twitter, or X, to see what's happening in the ecosystem. And I kinda need that in order to make relevant videos, so you could also consider that work. And if we add up all of those things, then basically I'm pretty sure I work 40 hours a week. Or when I help people in my Discord or wherever. Like recently I built a tool because I thought it would be a good idea. Because like, that's the funny thing, like that's like computer games for me right now. I used to play a lot of computer games, I don't at all anymore, and I don't watch movies or anything. But what I do is playing around with Solana, which feels like a computer game. Kind of, in a way. Because it's me against the hackers, or me against time, or whatever, right? Where I want to figure something out. Currently there's a common hack on Solana where people lose access to their wallet. The details you find on the other channel, it's not so important. The interesting thing is that I now took that as a challenge, me figuring out what you can and cannot do, and then building tools that help people who are not as tech savvy as me to do those things and to recover some of their asset that the attacker actually doesn't have access to. But they can still get out if they have the knowledge, and I want to provide that knowledge. So for me this is a game. How can I, you know, provide that? And at first it was just, okay, I'm making a video about that to have a topic to talk about. But then I was like, well, but for people to actually be able to use it, I need to build a tool. So I built that tool. When did I do that? Well, in my free time, because I wasn't paid for it. But it was also work. Let's be honest. Like coding for creating a tool, definitely work. And that has become so much work, in fact, that I ask for donations. I didn't get any donations because people in this space are like, well, I have recovered my assets, I'm good. Right? I didn't get many donations. So my new strategy was, well, before I build the next feature for that tool, how about we crowdfund this? So I gave them a donation address and they donated. And whether or not they paid me for it or they donated doesn't make a difference to the Finanzamt, so I'll have to pay taxes on that. But I got like 6,000 euros worth of donations for building that thing. Mainly from like 2 bigger donations, but that's cool. Now I have to pay 3K in taxes, but that's just Austria having high taxes. And in the beginning, when I started paying taxes, I'm like, oh, I hate paying so much tax. But then when I keep thinking about it, actually, Austria is such a nice country and I can go outside and it's great and it's clean and it's well policed and I don't need to worry that I get robbed on the streets or raped or killed. So like that's just, if I consider that, then I gladly pay tax. And to the most part, I think that Austria does good things with the tax money. I don't agree with everything, like I don't want them to build so many new roads and whatever, but I want them to build more train tracks. Mainly tax money is invested well. Also, they paid for my studies. Other people have student loans. I don't, because in Austria I can study for free. So it's just fair, let's be honest, if I pay my taxes. So anyway, I got some donations for that work, so then it has become work that I actually got paid for, and that's great. And a lot of people were very thankful that I helped them get their assets back. Some others were still angry that they couldn't get all of their assets back, even though it's their own fault that they got into this place anyway, because they signed a transaction with a scam site or whatever. So don't freaking blame me, because I'm literally just trying to help and you're complaining that I'm not doing a better job. I mean, go F yourself. But most people at least were thankful. And so that's very nice. So that's what I've been up to recently. And yeah, that's what's on my mind. Like, how can I do this? And then even if I'm not sitting in front of my computer checking Twitter or whatever, I still think about those things. Like when I'm cycling, I'm thinking like, oh, how can I do that? Oh yeah. So most of the time I spend thinking about work or work-related topics. Like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna do that? The second topic I also keep thinking about a little bit is the situation with my flatmate, because we sometimes struggle with things and how am I gonna figure that out and get my needs met. That's another topic that I often think about, but mainly it's work. And I don't know if I'm so happy with that. I mean, I love my work. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy work, and I also don't have like money issues. Because I realized even if Solana Foundation quits my contract, I could find people or protocols that would pay me for my work, because I have really deep knowledge in the Solana programming model and I really understand stuff well, and I can also explain it. So those are valuable skills that not a lot of people have. So I feel confident that even if the thing with Solana Foundation drops away, I would find something else. And the thing with the donations also showed that I can just build something and people are paying for it. So actually, I don't have money issues, and I'm profitable. Although I don't know, because I haven't paid tax for last year yet. I need to still do my Einkommensteuer, my tax report, and then we will see how much tax I actually need to pay and if I have enough cash at hand to pay that, and I'm afraid that I won't. But overall, I think I'm profitable. We will see after I did my tax report. I will keep you updated maybe. But it's not that I have money issues. Like, I don't need to earn more money than I do, because the more money I earn, the more tax I need to pay, and so on and so on. So as long as I'm earning those 3K a month, I'm fine. 3K after tax should be enough, which according to my expense tracking is not enough, but whatever. So I shouldn't worry about money. I wouldn't say I worry about money, but I do think about money a lot still. Like, I do allow myself to treat myself, right? Like when I go shopping, I buy the things that I want to buy. Yesterday when we went shopping with my flatmate to buy a sofa, because we don't have a sofa, we ended up buying everything else but a sofa, but I just paid for it because she doesn't have as much money and it's also my flat, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I pay for it. So I can allow myself to do that. I'm like, I don't worry about money as much as I used to. And at the same time, I still think I worry, or I think about it, like it's too much. Like, my focus is still too much on making more money. How can I make more money? How can I get that? How can I try and get that sold? And how can I try and do that bounty to get that additionally to what I do for a foundation and whatever. So a lot of my mental energy I invest into how can I make more money? There's this belief that once I have enough money, my life will be better. Which is absolute BS, because even if I had like way more money than I have right now, I don't think I would be happier. Like, just, I wouldn't. Because the sources of my unhappiness come more from the fact that I'm still single and don't have the connections that I want to have. And it's not that I don't have connections. I have a really good friend now in Vienna, Christian, and I do looping with him. You might have seen the live show. And he's one of the reasons why I don't want to leave Vienna right now, because for once I feel like I have a close friend again that I actually talk to and see regularly, and that I can also rely on to help me with stuff. If I really need something, I would think that he's there the same way I would be there for him if he needs something. And that's cool, because for the longest time I haven't had people like that in my life. Also with my roommate. She's actually a good friend of mine, that's why I allow her to live there for free. I mean, officially she pays rent, but then also she can't afford to pay me at the moment, so it feels like she's living there for free. Anyway, so she's a good friend. We also have really nice conversations, and that also, like, I also learn from that and I grow as a person, I think. So having her in my life is nice. And there's some more people in Vienna that I like and that I feel somewhat close to. Because I also heard recently in a TED Talk that I watched on YouTube, which was not work but free time, but then also, you know, you gotta do something, that the most important thing is relationships. This Harvard study that's been running for like 75 years. Crazy. The one factor that really contributed to a person's health was the quality of their relationships. Like if they could really rely on somebody, if they had like a marriage, community or close friends, that was so important. And I totally get that. I totally get that. That's the reason why I don't go solo traveling. Because even though when solo traveling I could be amongst people and I would probably find friends quite easily, those would all be very superficial friends and like short-term friends. And like, even though I could probably have good times with them, it would never build this deep connection and trust. And that's how I keep myself from just going to a surf camp or living in Bali for a year, because I don't want to restart. I don't want to restart again. I'm starting to have actual meaningful connections here in Vienna, so I don't want to give that up. What I'm thinking about though is going on vacation with one of my friends. Christian, hey, do we go on vacation? Do we travel somewhere again? I can pay, I have money. You pay a little bit, okay? Can I write that off as travel expense for like work trips? I'll just make you work for me. I just employ you and then we go on a business trip. Because it's totally important that we work somewhere else. Yeah, I could somehow argue that probably. Anyway, what am I talking about? That relationships are so important. Yeah, and so my priorities, it feels like, are messed up. Because I should focus a lot more energy on having meaningful connections and meeting people. Just having a good time together and not working so much. Even though I keep arguing that I don't work so much, but then I keep thinking about work most of the time and I don't really think about, you know, relationships so much. And it's so crazy because like another good friend of mine that I considered my best friend for the longest time, because we went to primary, grammar and high school together and I was even best man at their wedding, he's living in Vienna again and I haven't seen him since he moved back. Except for last week when we met again, when I managed to meet up with him. But before that we wanted to meet once, but then he got sick. And before that we wanted to meet for his birthday, which was last July, damn it. And then we also didn't manage. So I haven't seen him in like over half a year. And considering that he's like one of my best friends and he's living in the same freaking city as me, I could cycle down 20 minutes and be at his place. I really don't see him often enough because I don't make the effort, because I never think about it, because I always think about work. And that's a bit stupid, if we're honest. Yeah, just saying. The other thing that comes to mind when I think about, you know, relationships and friends, whatever, in terms of finding a partner, like for a romantic relationship, it's more that I don't know what to do. Like, because with work, it's easy. Oh, I can do that, record that video, edit that video, publish that video, get money. Easy, right? There's a clear path to da-da-da-da. Whereas with relationships, especially with getting to know a person I want to relate with, how do I do that? Like, I have no playbook how to do that. I don't want to go out clubbing and force myself to talk to women, or even worse, do like a, how do you call that? What do they call themselves? Pickup artists. I don't want to be that. That's so not me. In old days, when I was young and a very different person and did not manage to talk to women, I tried to do that and I read the rules of the game and I tried to do that, and guess what? It wasn't working for me. Ha! Who would have thought? And nowadays I have no problem talking to women and like getting to know them, and because I do it in an authentic way and in an honest way. And also I stop chasing them, because I used to, whenever I see a pretty girl, be like, I should talk to her because she could potentially be the one. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, there are lots of pretty women out there. And yes, I start calling them women, not girls. And really, I will only start making moves if I feel something. If they impress me and I'm like, aha, okay, this is interesting. I wanna get to know them. Then I make moves. And that just doesn't happen much. It happens sometimes, but I don't meet a lot of women. Like, it rarely happens. And that's why I just don't do much, because I don't want to force it. And I also don't want to do like that online dating, because that has never worked so far. And yeah, I kind of feel like I'm not making progress there, because my priorities are not right. But then yesterday I had psychotherapy at a new psychotherapist because my old one just, I felt like that's not useful for me. Yesterday I felt super exhausted afterwards because we did a lot of emotional work, and I was like, aha, so that's what therapy probably should feel like, being freaking drained afterwards, which doesn't feel good, but it feels like something happens. And there she had me realize that really I achieved a lot already. And I still think that eventually I'll figure it out, because I've figured out everything so far. The thing with the work, I was unhappy, now I'm happy. The thing with the relationships, I am unhappy, I will be happy. Kind of, right? I have this trust in myself. And it's not like I'm not making any progress, I'm really growing as a person. I just don't see any progress in terms of my relationship status, because still single, but that's not the best measurement really. Maybe it would be better to measure how easy I can relate with my flatmate, and that works much better now actually. So I am making progress. Yeah, I should just trust in that process of becoming a better person, and eventually I'll figure it out and meet the person that I do want to relate with long term and have a family with. So is it wrong to think so much about work? Should I be focusing more about where I get to meet women? No. That's not what I'm saying, even though sometimes I think that. But what I should focus on is friendships. Friendships and people and just connections and seeing people more. So that is my intention for my 33rd round trip around the sun on this planet. So yeah, focus more on people and relating and seeing people, and not so much on work. I will earn enough money, it's fine, whether or not I keep thinking about work all the time. And there was one more thing that I wanted to say and forgot, and it's not so important. Oh, and that was the thing that I forgot to say that sometimes puzzles me. How do people who work regular jobs have like time to do real life things? Hobbies and stuff. And maybe not even hobbies, but just general doing stuff. Like doing the dishes, cooking for themselves, doing laundry, going to physiotherapy, going to psychotherapy. How do people find time for that? I don't get it. Because a normal day for me looks like this. I get up at 11. Yeah, don't judge me. And then I have usually some appointment at some therapy. Like yesterday I went to psychotherapy. Then we went shopping. Then I went back home. And then it was 5 in the afternoon and I felt super exhausted. And I went to sleep for an hour, and then it was 7. So basically the day was almost over. Then I went out to eat because I still didn't do that. And then it was 9. I didn't do any work that day. I ended up still working from 9 till like midnight, but that's just 3 hours. So how do regular people like working 9 till 5 have time for anything? I don't get it. And a day like yesterday is not uncommon. Sometimes I have some appointment for something, and then it feels like the entire day is over. And sometimes I work until 3 a.m. to make up for that. And sometimes I just sit in front of my laptop until 3 a.m. But work-life balance, if I had a 9 till 5 job, I really wouldn't know how to do that properly. So I would probably just not do physio and psychotherapy and other things, because I would just be constantly overwhelmed with how little time I have. So I'm really glad with the job I have and how little I have to work. Even though I do work actually quite a bit. I just don't realize it myself often. Yeah, because a lot of things are actually work that don't feel like work. And that's great. I don't want work to feel like work. I'm in this super privileged position of being able to do things that I actually enjoy to do and write invoices for doing them. That's freaking like, who can say that about themselves? And I can. So I can be proud of myself that I got myself in this position. I will get myself in the position where I'm also happy with my relationships. And I'm getting there. I have a good friend that I see later today as well for my birthday, because he prioritizes me. There's another birthday party going on of another friend of mine, but I don't want to go to somebody else's birthday party on my freaking birthday. So I'm not going there. And he's also joining me in going for dinner. Yeah, it feels good having somebody who's there for you. I'm also there for myself, and I support myself, and I will now treat myself to some vegan pancakes because I've been craving that the entire morning, but then I couldn't be bothered to do that. But then I actually felt like having some non-so-sweet breakfast. But now would be a good time for pancakes. Actually, no, now would be a good time for proper dinner, for proper lunch. I mean, it's been 2 days, but happy birthday, Andy. So we'll see if I do pancakes or not. In any case, I got my back. And that's the most important thing. And then second most important is having other people who have my back and whose back I have. So yeah, that's gonna be my focus, building a good network of people that I trust and that I have really good connections with, because that's essentially what I need to live a healthy, happy life. Yeah, that's a realization I made recently, and that's the priority I want to set. Get away from work. I mean, still do work because I love, like I enjoy it as well, but not over prioritize work. I want to put at least as much effort into friendships and quality time than I put into coding and making videos and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, if you excuse me, I will not do any more work today. Also, editing this video feels like work, but filming the video felt like, yeah, it's something I want to do. And here's the thing, like it's so difficult for me to not do anything. That's still something I need to learn. Like this whole breathe. Which I should do sometimes, but I don't, because it feels like I'm wasting my time. I should be productive, I should do something, I should earn money or whatever, right? But just being, just chilling, I don't really do that. So that's why also if I don't work, I want to be somehow productive and do something, because otherwise I really feel like it's wasted time. And that's just also one of those beliefs that I might want to let go of, but is probably difficult and not so important, because it also serves me, right? This feeling of do something serves me, because if I fully trust the things will come and I don't do anything, then that's also not ideal. So having a bit of a drive is good, but I don't want to fall into the hustle culture of neglect everything to make this one company work, which is just stupid in my opinion. But if other people want to live that way, they can. I don't judge them, as long as they don't force me to do the same. So yeah, do more things that you enjoy. Don't force yourself to work. It's gonna be fine. You can't do everything, you can't help everyone, and as long as you keep healthy relationships and do something, I want to do something social every day. How about that? Because too often I just sit in front of my laptop all day and then feel shit, even though I might have been productive. Although when I've actually been productive and made some money, then I feel great. But sometimes I just sit in front of the laptop and do nothing, what feels like nothing, surf Twitter. There it would be better to just do something with friends. So focus more on meeting people. That's gonna be my priority while I'm 32, 23, of course I'm 23. Anyway, if you excuse me, I don't want to edit too much. I love purple, did you realize? So freedom and health to you. Happy birthday, me or you if it's your birthday. Make your back up. Thanks for watching this, observing me go another trip around the sun. Yeah, I wish I would make more videos, and I don't, and that's okay. I don't need to document everything. In fact, it's probably good that I don't have this craving, because it feels like I did a lot of YouTube because I didn't have friends, and because I didn't have friends to tell things about, or it felt like the friends, I'm gonna lose them anyway. That's a classic, yeah, because that's my experience. I always lost my friends because I moved away, lost the connection to my friends. Or they now have a partner and their own home and then eventually children, and then they just don't have time for me anymore. And potentially that will be the same with Christian. He might find a partner and not have time for me anymore. But I don't want to believe that. I don't want to let that happen this time. He might find a partner and have children and stuff, but I still want to stay connected. And or find a partner myself and have children myself, and then not have so much time for him anymore, which is also fine. And yeah, I mean, things comes in phases. That's normal. Like, I'm not saying I will forever be best friends with Christian. That's also not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that because I have him now, I need to do less YouTube. Or I feel like I'm okay with doing less YouTube because I don't need to tell you guys everything, because I have actual friends that I can tell things. And I don't make it so important anymore that there's record of me and all my thoughts online, which I used to. I still have other records that I keep, but not so much the YouTube thing anymore, which is interesting to observe. And I guess I'll count that as progress. Oh, also they closed up the park. It's the first time being here in this park. Like, I live super close. I live back there. It's a small but really nice park. And today on my birthday I treated myself to actually going here. You don't need 100 unit 95. That's enough to live an entire life. 95. And goodbye. 95. You don't need 100 unit 95. That's enough to live an entire life. 9 to 5.